How you doing, beautiful people? Saleem Messiah here, hosting Necessary Conversations. Thank you guys for all your support so far. I really appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed. If you watch Benny's episode Slim TV with me featuring Nona, I told you guys merch is coming soon. It's here. We got colors in red, blue, black, and yellow. If you want to buy one, support a brother at King__Messiah on Instagram or at AIC on air on Instagram as well for the AIC Radio Instagram page. Support a brother. Get with me. Necessary Conversations, baby. Appreciate y'all. Welcome back to Necessary Conversations. I'm your host, Saleem Messiah. I got my guy, Coach Iz. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Nah, this has been a long time in the making. Had to get this done. It's going to be a legendary episode. I appreciate you for coming on, man.
No doubt.
I want to get started from the beginning. What got you into football, the game of football?
Yeah, it's always been a game, almost like my outlet.
Yeah.
You know, with things going on in life and just overall the team atmosphere and working towards a goal. Even as a kid, things going on at home, things that may frustrate me. Just football was just always an outlet to kind of get your energy out and things like that.
Yeah.
So, and then through that, as I got older, being the only child, football, my teammates became more like my family. I had cousins I grew up with that were very close to me, but my teammates became almost like my brothers through Pop Warner High School, college, things like that, and all the memories. So,
what age you started getting into it? Really?
7 or 8.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
And you're from Mass, are you?
Yeah.
You're from Mass.
Yeah.
So you've been playing Mass football your whole life.
Yeah, so I grew up south of Boston in a town called Canton, 25 minutes south. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Mass guy through and through.
Yeah. What was the first position you got into?
So it was crazy. I was actually a D tackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I moved to linebacker at one point. And I was a corner, running back. So, including Pop Warner, I was all over the place. Yeah. Then once I got to high school, I was corner and running back. And then college, I came in as a corner. Yeah. I was big in the weight room. And then my head coach came in and asked me, he's like, "You're too big for corner now. I'm just lifting way too much." He's like, "Either fullback or linebacker." And I was like, "Yeah, I played running back before, so let me go to fullback."
You wanted to go to fullback?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
were they using fullbacks in that offense?
Yeah. Okay, it was a pro-style offense, but also had 2-minute principles where we go 10 personnel. Yeah. But we were a traditional 21 personnel offense. So they did use a fullback, but for me it was I played running back before. I don't know. I was
more familiar.
Yeah, I was like, let me go back there. I actually had some good success and special teamers and fullback stuff like that. So.
How was your high school football career? How was that for you?
So I ain't gonna lie to you, our team was not good.
No?
It was built some character, Saleem.
Yeah, for sure.
We were not good. We had good skill players. We didn't have good
linemen.
Yeah, guys up front.
Yeah.
So we struggled a lot. But my senior year, we went. It was actually kind of funny. We went 2-0 for the first time in 10 years,
really?
And everyone was all happy and stuff. And then we started playing our in-conference teams.
Yeah,
we were in trouble because we played. It's called the Hockenmug League in Mass. It's one of the better leagues. Now they split it up, but before it was Mansfield's a top team, North Attleboro. Yeah. What else is there? Foxborough. A bunch of really good teams were in that conference. Usually pretty traditional power. We just did not have the line to handle it.
No.
Yeah, so we struggled, man. By my senior year, we were were we 2 and something or 3 and something? It was crazy.
So you guys pretty much just lost every other game after the 2-0 start.
Oh yeah, it was
really
built some character. But it was kind of funny, man, because it's people say, but it's true. It kind of makes you it builds something in you because you're still gonna keep showing up.
Yeah,
you're still gonna keep working hard. You might get the results you want, but it's all about the process and just keep grinding it out.
The hope of at the end of the week you get the win.
Exactly. And it's funny because I go to college and it was very similar. My first 2 years we weren't that good, but then it was kind of cool. At the high school moment where we just never really turned it around, and then college we weren't good my first 2 years, and then we had a meeting my freshman year with our head coach. He's like, "Your class has got to turn this thing around." And sure enough, my junior year we won the conference, went to the playoffs. Then my senior year, we went 10-1, and then 2 of my suite mates got invited to rookie mini camps at NFL. So it was kind of cool seeing the other side of it where you can turn it around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So,
how was your football recruiting in high school?
So I wasn't really a big time recruit. It was more so Division III schools, a couple of D2s. Nothing crazy. I'm gonna be honest with you, Saleem. I know I'm saying this on the podcast. Yeah. I wasn't the greatest student in high school.
No, yeah, for sure.
I wasn't the greatest. I was just an okay student. I was one of those guys where some guys are like this. I was like this. I became a better student in college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of I worked.
High school is all about stuff you don't necessarily want to learn about. College, you can choose it.
Exactly.
Is what you want to go. So it's a little more interesting. Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
Exactly. So I was like just. It was football, being social, and like I did my work, but like I could have did a lot better. I kind of coasted.
Sure.
I went all in on football. But when I got to college, I kind of turned it around. Almost graduated 3.0, but so because I wasn't the greatest student, obviously it was mostly, regardless of academic schools, mostly D3s and D2s. And I ended up going to Endicott. They had me on a visit. I felt right at home, and I was like, I told my parents, like, I don't want to go here if it works out financially. And it did. So it was cool.
Where's Endicott?
It's in Beverly, Mass. So it's
Beverly,
like, I'd say like 20 minutes north of Boston.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Like we go to Celtics games, take the train and stuff like that. It's right on the water.
Was there any other school that could have got you? Like, all right, you guys might have a chance.
I was kind of sold on Endicott.
Yeah.
UMass started me with a little bit because a lot of my high school went there.
Yeah.
But Endicott, the campus was great, and I just like on my recruiting visit, I met a friend of mine that's kind of funny. He actually works in the same town I live in now as a firefighter for Worcester. So it was just like I don't know, you kind of know, you know what I mean? You go on campus. I was like, kind of like it. I like the fact that the coaches were like really recruiting me, had me up for overnight, and I was like, I kind of feels good. So I knew.
So you get there freshman year, like what's your first like welcome to college moment? Like, oh, this is kind of because I'm sure like even when you were graduating, it's like you're thinking D1 or bust, you're thinking D1 or bust, but you're D3, so you like all right, it can't be that hard, but you get there and it's like, oh, okay, this is still like football.
Yeah, for me, it was the conditioning part of things. Because, again, I was always in the weight room.
Yeah.
I ran, but, like, I didn't do enough conditioning. I did a lot of, like, sprint workouts. And, like,
just to get fast and not enough conditioning. Yeah.
And just doing we used to run, it was called the 850, and that thing, that test used to work me, man.
Yeah.
It was like 10 back, 20 back, 10 back, like 25 back, 50 back, end line at the end. Ended up being 150 yards, whatever it was. And you had a certain time to make. And I just struggled with that test, man. So I was like, okay, this conditioning is different. And then they changed it to a 300-yard shuttle, which we do here, obviously. Yeah. And I killed that. That was built for me. Like, I had no problem. That was cake. But, like, that was eye-opening for me because I'm like, all right, these dudes, they're not just in the weight room. These guys can run, too. Yeah. So that kind of opened my eyes when I was a freshman.
So your first, like, mini camp, like, what's a guy that you like, okay, he's pretty good, like,
you're saying, when I was
when you was at Endicott, yeah.
So there was these two brothers. One went to be one really good friends. He wasn't there at the time. He's my year.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he did. He actually transferred in right around near the end of camp. But he had an older brother that was like FCS. Like, he was a grown man.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing with D3, if you can get these high-level transfers, it really, like, get you next level.
Yeah.
So he was an FCS guy. His brother transferred from Rutgers, Bryant, and my good friend of mine, to Endicott. And watching those two, especially the older brother, when they rushed off the edge, I was like, all right, this is like, they were unblockable, man. It was crazy. It was crazy. Especially D3 players are pretty good, but especially when you get like a transfer that's should be higher up, you really can see like the differences. You know what I mean?
What did the coach say to you guys to like, all right, we're not winning right now? Like, what was the you feel like the switch to change the whole program around that you mentioned, like freshman, sophomore year, you wasn't really in, the junior, senior year kind of changed around?
Yeah, so I think it was a combination of they did a good job recruiting the right personalities because in my class, we like loved working out. It was just, I don't know if that's something they were looking for in the recruiting process, but every one of the guys in my class, like we always were in the gym, always working out, always loved just working out. And I still think it was a lot with that first meeting after one of the earlier practices when our head coach brought us together. Like, when everyone left, he said freshmen stay.
Yeah.
He waited for everyone to leave, and he said, like, you guys are going to change this class around. Like, just stick it through. Trust me. And he was right.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I talked to him about that after I graduated, and he said, like, I guess they had, like, a board, wherever their recruiting process was, but they knew because we were all, like, were the top-rated guys, and they were like, wow, we got him. They knew, like, from talking to the staff that this class was going to be special. We kept it together. So, like, he, like, had a feeling of it. And I felt like he did the right thing.
Yeah.
In that moment, he felt like he needed to say it. And, like, he brought us out after practice, like, just stick it out. Like, trust me, this class could turn around and kind of really help propel everything.
Do you think he said that because the season wasn't going as good as you guys hoped it to be? Or
yeah, because we weren't doing well at that point at all. I forget what our record was. And he probably, in his mind, if I go to his logic, he's probably like, all right, I know a really talented class. I got to make sure none of them think, like, we can't turn this around. Yeah. So I think he might have felt the pulse of the room because that meeting is so funny. It sticks to me so vividly. It was after practice. Like, he was upset. All the coaches were, I don't know what we did, but they were not happy with the whole team. And he said, everyone leaves, like, freshmen, all freshmen stay right here. And I'm thinking,
guys probably thought you were in trouble.
oh, my, I was leaning straight up. I was like, damn, we're about to get on the line right now. I was like, what we do? And he's like, no. He's like, listen, I forget what he said exactly, but essentially it was, your class, you guys got to stick it out together. You got to do some special things here. Just really trying to hone in on it. And it kind of worked out.
What was your freshman year mini camp like? Like, I'm sure it's like, you got to get used to getting up early and everything. And what was your freshman mini camp like?
So that's when, I think last time when they stopped doing it, they used to have doubles. They still do when they outlawed doubles, I forget, over recently, but it was on the turf. And, like, I did them in high school, but it's different in college because you're on the turf in that heat. Like, I remember it was like a morning practice, an evening practice, meetings in between. And I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, I'm exhausted. Like, it's just, because you know how it is. It's just constant. It's just absolutely constant. So it took me a while to get used to that. But after that first one, it's like you kind of get used to it. But it was like, it was very eye-opening. Just like, because we were in the middle of the heat, too. Our coach is old school, man. His name's J.B. Wells, a good dude. But he was like, that's in the middle of the day. We were in. I guess the philosophy behind this probably get us tougher. But, like, in the middle of the heat, we were out there just 2-a-days, one like middle in the morning, one near the evening or so, something like that. And it was crazy.
So going to what your coach told you guys, like, yo, this is going to be the class to change everything after your sophomore year, the off season going into your junior year, do you start to feel a change? What was the mindset for the team to change that?
So it's kind of funny. You know, in the off season, everyone, in a good way, you believe like this is going to be the year, this is going to be the year. So we don't know for sure. We think so. And the one thing that happened early in the season, I forget what the exact score was, we were down by Salve Regina early in the season by like, it was crazy, Saleem, like 2 or 3 scores, but like, no lie, I wish I had it on my phone. Like 6 minutes left in the fourth. And we came back and won. It was like touchdown, onside kick, something happened when we scored again. I forget the sequence. We were down by like at least 2 or 3 possessions with like minimal time left. Jeez. And after we won that game, it was like, it just took off. Like the rest of the season, we were just like, all right, we got this. And kept winning games, beat Maine Maritime I think it was a last second play. I think we stopped like a pass or something like that. So to win the conference, and it was just like after that comeback win, it was almost like, all right, we can like if we come back from that many scores in the fourth, like why can't we just win out?
And that was your junior year?
That was my junior year. We won the conference.
Jeez. Yeah. So how was it your senior year coming back?
Yeah, senior year was tough. It was good. It was tough for this reason. We were very, very good. We were like number 1 team in New England. It was a type of dominance where like at halftime the stars were out for like all our games. Like we were up like 4 or 5 scores for like beginning of the third quarter multiple times because it was like everyone was coming back. We were just rolling teams. And I always remember this, man. We got a little confident. We had to beat Winnick for us to go back-to-back champs. And I remember, I know probably admitting this. This is why like coaches always say like just don't take your opponent lightly. Like I've been through it. I lived it. We were like talking about like our shirts. Like we'll get this shirt. We'll get all these rings and stuff. And it was a snowstorm that game, and they outplayed us, man, straight up. They brought back like 2 kick return, one to like the 5, one to like the 20. And we ended up losing that game. And I remember, I have no problem saying this, man. I was crying. A lot of us were hurt. I was crying in the locker room because I was like, bro, we have everyone coming back. We were 9-0 or something at that point. I'm like, and then there was an article in the Boston Herald about us. Like, we were creating a lot of buzz in New England because we were like, oh, this team's gonna make a run in the playoffs. We had 2 guys that got invited to rookie mini camps. We had pro prospects. Like, we were like, we were feeling ourselves. And that game, man, I got chills thinking about it. I was so crushed. I was crushed. So it was cool. It was a great experience. But we went 10-1, and then the selection show happened, and we were like, oh, there's still a chance, and we didn't get the bid, and it was like, man, it was like, man, all this, one in our junior year, everyone's coming back, and we just fumbled it, man. When it outplayed us, we overlooked them, and
you
it's one of the things you always heard.
The bid junior year, right? You didn't get the bid.
So it was automatic bid. So you won the conference, you went in. So junior year we went in. We ended up losing to Cortland in the first round. So senior year we're like, we'll make a run this year. Everyone coming back, like we know what the playoffs are about. So we're rolling teams. Like I'm telling you, man, we were like, it got to the point. Our coaches, it was kind of cool. He almost like. We were stretched, but we also had fun and dance because he knew like we had. Like, he was like, he let us kind of just not go, but he's like, they got it. You know what I mean? And then we just overlooked Winnick, man, and that still hurts me because like to this day, I'm like, I really believe with the talent we had, we got in the playoffs, we at least got the first round. But it's one of those things, man. That's why we always tell guys as coaches, like, don't take anything for granted because we'll never get that back. Even to this day, my friends and boys in college, we talk about like what that team could have been. So.
What did you major in college?
So I was actually liberal studies because I knew I wanted to coach, but
you
it wasn't.
Always knew you wanted to coach?
Like I kind of had a feeling, but in college it really would have came together.
Yeah.
Like we actually had like a little side story. We had an intramural basketball team, and I was the
Yeah.
head coach, making all the subs and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I was recruiting guys. Like I was all about it. But I had a feeling I wanted to coach. So I got into like there was a coaching philosophy class. There's different like coaching philosophy classes.
Yeah.
And I talked to my head coach, and he was like, honestly, like you could try to get a degree in business or something, but at the end of the day, it's all about who you know.
Yeah.
And if you're a good coach and who you know, it actually will travel itself. So I wasn't overly concerned at that point. So I just kind of stayed with liberal studies and a minor in history. And then I was able to get right into coaching right out of college. So.
Really? You always knew you wanted to coach.
Yeah,
That's great.
like,
Coach Conti said the same thing.
Sometimes you just know, I guess. I don't know.
What was it about that you like? Did you have coaches in your family, or what was it that made you want to coach?
I don't know, man. I think a lot of it is the relationship part of it. Like I just know how much joy I got out of football in general, like the team aspect of it. And then just seeing, I've been around a lot of positive coaches, seeing the impact they had on me. Like one coach of mine is now special coordinator at JMU, just seeing how he like was always great to guys, always in just how it made me feel.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to give that back. You know what I mean? Like being positive, using football as an outlet from whatever else going on in your life. And that's what it was for me. So that was a big part of it. And also, honestly, you love competition too.
Yeah.
So it's like go behind a desk or do something you love, dealing with people, competing, stuff like that. So,
jeez, coaching is tough because it's like you. I remember Ja was talking about because he's working with you guys now. It's like it's so much more work as a coach than as a player.
Yeah.
And you think as a player you're putting so much work in, but as a coach you're watching film.
You have no idea. It's crazy, man. I remember my first year of coaching, going through the coach's manual, and I was like, check out the schedule. I'm like, all right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. And I'm going through. I'm like, when's our day?
Yeah.
And I was laughing. I was like, oh, boy. And I remember reaching out to my college coach, and I was like, listen, I just want to apologize. Because me and my boy, we used to be like, oh, what are they doing all day? Just sitting around. Like, But, man, I remember that was eye-opening. I was, like, laughing. Like, I remember just flipping the pages. All right, September's done. October. I was like, whoa.
When was your day off? Yeah, because then right after season you got recruiting now. Yeah, and
It was
what was
funny,
your
man.
first coaching job? Like your coach?
I was at Stonehill.
Stonehill?
Started off as an intern coaching running backs, but it was kind of cool the way they did it. Our head coach, like I coached the running backs, but my first year though, he was on my meetings and like getting me right, like teaching me how to coach.
Yeah.
So it was a really good experience for me, like how to coach running back, stuff like that. It was great being a Stonehill because it gave me a good base because I was breaking down film, I was recruiting, I was doing the call sheets for the OC.
Yeah.
Eventually, I did special teams, so I was doing the special teams playbook. They threw me in a good way, everything at me, study hall, everything, and that kind of built a foundation my first 3 years. So I was an intern, and as I was an intern, I was still running backs, and I also did special teams my last year before I left. But like I always cherished that because in a good way, they just threw everything at me, and I think it really made me a better coach because there's some coaches you hear like they go 3, 4, 5 years, and they may have not like even drawn a scout card before, or the last place didn't ask them to upload film, and it's just tools they gave me like how to draw on Visio and stuff like that. So it was a good experience for me, man. Like I always cherish those moments because they treated me well, but they also weren't holding back. They were like just giving me stuff constantly to make me a better coach.
Now, you always wanted to be a coach, but especially when you're looking at that schedule and you seeing all these new things that you have to do, was it ever a point like, is this really what I want to do?
No, it's funny, man. I don't know. It's like coaches are interesting because like they you just love it. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It's just like the camaraderie. And my wife laughs at me because like I come home and I always have like extra energy because like I'm an extrovert, so I feed off of people. So like staff meetings, player meetings, stuff like that. It's just like I don't know. I can't explain it. It just gives me like energy.
Yeah.
So it's just although it was hard work, knowing you're with like another coach, young coach grinding it out, doing all the film while the other coaches leave. It's just like something that brings you together with that through that grind.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes any sense, but like,
I understand for sure.
Something about it. I don't know.
What was like your next job after Stonehill as far as coaching?
So after 3 years, I became special teams coordinator, with the help of the head coach, and then my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she was like, "I have an opportunity at Bucknell University," and she was like, "Do you want to go out there with me?" And I was thinking about it. I'm like, "All right, I'm kind of at my ceiling." The head coach was being the OC. Like there was no other growth there, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I'll go out there and try to figure it out." So when she went to Bucknell, Susquehanna University just hired a new coach, so that's the time it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And he needed new staff. I still talk to him to this day. He's doing a great job. Tom Perkovich, he's killing it over there. Yeah. And he hired me a part of that staff. So that's how I ended up in PA for about 18 months or so.
Jeez.
Which was interesting, man, because when you're a guy that like grows up in one area the whole time,
and
it
you
was
get
like a
to
culture
know-
shock. It was cool, just like it was very slowed down.
No, I believe it. Pennsylvania is definitely interesting. How was it at that school for you?
It was good, and and again, it's just funny how like life experiences prepare you for different things, because it was good to see like a new coach and a new program, how he wants to build it.
Yeah.
And now if you look back, you look it up right now, Susquehanna University, I don't know if you know, they're like always top 25, top 15 in the country, making playoff. Like they're ridiculous. And it's kind of cool. Like I text them every once in a while, like I was part of that inaugural staff and how far they've come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool seeing the stuff he put in place is now mounting to all the success they're having. So it was great. And again, it was just really good to get. One thing with coaching that anyone wants to be a young coach that people have told me, and I've seen it work, is you want to try to get as much different philosophy. Even if you take one thing from one coach, that's still something to add to your toolbox.
Yeah.
Just learn as from any coach as possible. So it's great to get a new culture, a new philosophy, just to add to like my files and stuff like that.
What's something you think you took from that coach from at Susquehanna?
Susquehanna?
Yeah, Susquehanna.
I'd say the biggest thing is like he knew what he wanted, and the biggest thing was speed. Like he tested the 40. And when I was there was not many guys that ran like even like 4.6 when I was there.
Yeah.
And now he reached out to me. Like he was big on like measurables. He just wanted speed. That's the biggest thing he was he really wanted to get. Not the only thing, but it was one thing he wanted to get. And recently he said like a bunch of his guys run like 4.5s now, 4.6s. So like big thing was just working on team speed.
Yeah.
But bigger than that is knowing what you want and like being relentless until you get it. Like what you want from a team. Because now, like, if you look, man, you watch the highlights, they look pretty good.
Nah.
and he knew, like, we didn't. I was there in the beginning. It wasn't like that all the way.
Yeah.
And he kind of built it up through recruiting and being relentless of what he wanted out of the program and stuff like that.
So after you leave PA, that school, where do you go after that?
So after that, it was kind of similar again. I got engaged out there to my wife, and we both were like, eventually once having kids, not right away, but eventually. We should get back to Mass and try to like get closer to home. So when we have kids, so we're just kind of figuring it out. And then she had an opportunity at Holy Cross, working in athletics, and I was like, all right, cool. I'll try to see if I can come back again. So when I came back, a job opened at AIC the first time around, and it was like DB. So I was here for 2017, and then 2018 I went to running backs and did recruiting coordinating here. So that kind of got me back here. I met obviously Art Wilkins. I was part of his staff and stuff like that. And it was really cool just to see another coach, another style. And like, he taught me, the one thing I really got from him was he was an old school guy. Yeah. Everyone does email, stuff like that. He was always talking about like, it's always great for people to see you face to face when you handle any type of business. And it stood out to me. Like he would go send an email to someone, he'd go right to their office. Just like to see you. And it's like little things like that you just take from people. That's something I took from him. Like, face-to-face dialogue goes a long way. Yeah, so I was here from...
I'm a terrible emailer.
But face-to-face goes a long way. And it made sense. He's like, because people could read your body language. It's just different. And I'm like, no, I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. So how was your time here? I remember guys like, did you coach Samad, right?
Samad?
Yeah. Guys like Samad. Samad is one of the coldest players I've ever seen. Like, how was your time coaching here?
It was cool, man, because I got to be on the defensive side, which is cool because I'm on defense. I don't think that's the first time I'm actually doing defense. So it was good seeing it because I can give offensive perspective. Yeah. And it was a really cool experience. And I went to running backs again where I'm used to, and I coached Samad and stuff like that. So it was a cool experience just because, again, it's just a different culture from everything else. Everywhere I've been lucky to get like a different type of just everything. And I think it's the more you expose yourself, the better coach you're going to be. Yeah. And it was just good just to see a different type of culture, how he built it, things like that going through. So I enjoyed the experience. I learned a lot from Coach Wilkins, just the personal skills and things. He's a very intelligent guy, just like how to deal with people and things like that.
Now, when it comes to film, I remember you spoke on, they taught you how to break down film at your first job. How does that work? Like, what do you look for maybe when you're watching film? Okay, like maybe this is how you know they're going to blitz, or this is how you know. Like, what do you look for as a coach when you're watching film?
So the biggest thing is trying to break it down. So even from an offense perspective, whatever the terminology, every offense, every team's usually different. So like what someone calls an over front might be something, you know what I mean? Everyone's different. So you go through, break it down, like what fronts they do, every single play, what the coverage is every single play, is any blitz every single play. And once you do all of that, you can get a report, and it'll kind of tell you the percentages of what they do, by down, by this and that. So once you have that, now you can start working on your game plan as you're watching the film. Hey, yes, his 75% of the time they're sending this splits on third down. Let's watch it though. Let's see it. Let's see how. Now let's see like what tells they show.
Yeah.
All right, cool. When that safety kind of gets off the hash a little bit, that's when they're sending that. All right, cool. So then you go into practice week, draw the scout cards and everything. Make sure that's why coaches get frustrated sometimes with the scout look.
Yeah.
Make sure, hey, no, this is how he lines up. Make sure you show that look. So now the QB and stuff, they all can see exactly what they saw on film. So it's kind of a process of breaking it down, doing the percentages, and now you get your scout cards and try to get that look.
How long does that take?
Yeah,
a ballpark. How long does that take to even just? Because you're even talking about you pretty much got to watch almost the whole game.
Yeah.
How long does that take?
Yeah. So once you get good at it, it shouldn't take too long. It all depends on the person.
Yeah.
Like me, it takes me a little bit because I get caught up where like an old coach, one of my coaches told me this, and it's so true. The first time I break down the film, just try to break it down. Like, don't watch it. My problem is sometimes
you're just watching.
I'll put in like the front and the blitz, and I'll watch the clip 2 or 3 times, go to the next one.
Yeah.
If you do that, it'll take you 2 or 3 hours. But if you do like a full breakdown, don't really watch it, just like, all right, what is it, 4 down, all right, over front, all right, they send cross blitz, all right, next play. If you just do that, it take an hour and a half to break down the game, probably an hour. But if you do what I do sometimes, it happens to me, I can't help it.
Yeah.
Like break down one play and then watch it a couple times. That could take like 2 or 3 hours. So it depends how efficient you are with it.
Because sometimes you'll want to watch film, but then you're just caught up in watching the play. Like, okay, that's a good play.
Yeah.
This guy was open. This guy, like, you're just not. But then you have to really like think like, okay, I have to really compartmentalize. This is this and this and that.
Yeah. It takes a little. Once you get in a rhythm, though, it's like it's not bad. And then a lot of staffs, you can just split it up. Like I know I did it one time with I remember Coach Satori.
Yeah.
Hey, if you get blitzes, I'll do the stunt. I'll do the front this week, or I'll do the blitzes, you do the stunts, and kind of go through it that way.
Yeah.
Or like just kind of mix up with your staff. I think the best thing is to divide it by game though, because sometimes what could happen is you might see stuff differently. So like I might call something a 3 down front, and then someone writes in like a 4 down blitz, and it's like, no, I think it's a 3 down front.
Yeah.
So if someone does one game, they can keep it more consistent with the blitzes and coverages and everything.
Then you're not even thinking. That's just like one game based off the first game. But if you're game 9, you got to go through all 9 games.
Yeah. And some people will do like break down all of them.
Yeah.
But only like do scouting reports on like the previous 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But like if you can, like I know when I did the special teams, I try to break down every single game just because I want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Not that many for specials.
Not that many,
exactly.
Not that many plays, and then I get like, I don't want to be that guy that I missed like a fake punt they did because I was trying to go so fast.
Yeah.
So.
How do you break down that special teams aspect of this is how we're going to cover it, this is how we're going to block it? How do you break down that?
So like when I get their punt, I'll go through and I'll tag like, all right, shield right. Like so if it's shield and someone's on the right or the two defenders on the right, or like hey, shield left, shield right. So I get a feel for where the two personal protectors are and how they're stepping down, and then go through it again. Like all right, which way are they stepping? They stepping left, they stepping right. And once you get all that data in, and then I also do a almost tag everywhere on the field where the ball's been hidden, so you have an idea of a hit chart where they're hitting it.
Okay. So
you go through all that, and then once you figure out, all right, I noticed like 75% of the time, no matter where they are, they usually step two person protectors to the right side of their foot, and they usually step down. All right, cool. So now I'll try to figure out what can we call to go against that.
Okay.
And I know, hey, when they're backed up, they go to this punt.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So when I get backed up, we're gonna rep this tomorrow. You know what I mean? Things like that. Or hey, I know like for some reason their left guard is kind of soft when he's stepping down.
Yeah.
All right, I know I'll probably send 2 guys at him, maybe do like a cross, get to the block point. So it's kind of breaking it down that way for each team.
Yeah.
So like when you go kickoff now, I look through and see these all the long gains, any touchdowns, and there's a guy that has like at least 1 or 2. We're probably gonna kick away from him. You know what I mean? Not gonna mess around with it.
Yeah.
Things like, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like
sure.
that. Or if I notice like our own tendency, we keep kicking it to the right. We're doing a 6 and 4 every single time. Hey, the first kickoff, we'll go flip it. We'll go 6 and 4 this way to kind of catch them off guard.
Yeah.
So little things like that with each single team, basically.
What do you look for personally in like a running back? Like, do you?
Yeah, it's a good question.
because there's different types: downhill, shifty, bruiser,
Yeah.
pass catcher. Like, what do you look for? Like, what's your type of guy? Like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, I like the way he plays.
So the first thing is, and I learned this from a previous job I was at, is injury history and finding that out, because you can get caught up if someone's been hurt a lot in high school.
Yeah,
Chances are it's going to happen when they get to college.
College,
So
yeah.
first thing is injury history. After that, it's before I even get to the field stuff. Like, are they a hard worker? Are they showing up all the time? Because being a running back, you're 3 levels defense trying to hit you,
Yeah.
trying to get on you a little bit and trying to blow you up. But a complete running back for me is someone that, one, has the vision and understanding what's happening up front, because it's different than high school. You can't just bounce everything. So I'll sit down and watch a film. If I notice, it's not a bad thing, but like their O-line's just really good, and he's just running down open holes, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if I notice that like he's reading, he's pressing the blocks, setting up the double teams, he understands what that stuff you can really watch. All right, this dude understands what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then from there, the next thing I'll look for is home run ability. So is he getting caught a lot, or is he every single time someone's trying to chase him, he's finishing in the end zone? And then I go through suddenness. So basically, how quickly getting out of the cuts. Is he a guy that kind of like stutters his feet, or is it like you can tell he just sticks it and goes, gets vertical?
Yeah.
And then, sorry, there's a lot of things
No,
on
for
this.
sure.
And then I go through also yards created. So is he a guy? I'm okay either way. Is he going through guys or around guys, or is whenever someone tackles him on this film, he's always going down?
Yeah.
So that's a big one as well. Cash catching ability is another thing I'd like to check out as well. Can he be multiple, or is he a guy that you only hand the ball to every single time? And then measurables, I'm not overly concerned with like how tall someone is.
Yeah.
And I'm a little biased. I'm a shorter guy.
Yeah.
But for me, it's how stout. Like, is he put together?
Yeah.
So I'd rather a guy be 5'8", 195, 200 pounds, or someone that's like 6'1", 150.
Yeah,
They get broken
for
in
sure.
half. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or I got to be low to the ground, be able to go through contact.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'm not too concerned with, we can teach it, is he used to pass pro and understanding pass pro.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit of all those things. And I do believe in a little bit of everything. I believe you do need some guys that are just downhill, some guys that can create. Because I do think it's good to have like a top guy, but you need someone else to help that out.
Yeah.
So,
When it comes to, because you mentioned hard worker and things like that, obviously if you ask the player, he's going to say, yeah, coach, I work hard. And probably if you ask the head coach of the high school, he wants his guy to get recruited. He's going to say, yeah, he's a hard worker, he comes everything. How do you know, like, if he's telling the truth?
So another thing that you can do, and another coach told me this a while ago, way back when, he told me, you ask other coaches in that conference. They have nothing to hide. So his coach might say, but if you ask, you're in the same area, you ask their rival, what do you think about 22, the running back over there? Coach, to be honest with you, he's kind of, you know what I mean? Like he says he works, but I've heard that he shows up to half the practices and kind of a hard. Or we think about this guy, number 19. He's the truth. Like I see him in camps. The guys over here say that he works his behind off. So a trick to it is definitely asking the other coaches in the area, because it is true.
Yeah.
He's gonna say it, and his coach, chances are, unless you know the coach personally, to tell you the truth, he may or may not be a little biased, but other coaches in the conference, they have nothing to lose.
Okay.
So that's one way to do it, is actually ask other coaches.
I always wondered that, because I'm like, he could easily lie. So what is it? Well, okay, you ask him.
That's a good way of doing it. Yeah.
I know you had a couple Blair Walsh internships where you could have the chance to coach in the summer. How was those experiences?
Those are great, man. Very eye-opening. It's kind of crazy because there are levels to it. The biggest thing is the detail is a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, football's football. It's just kind of funny being around those guys, because just like our guys, we all joke around. They do the same stuff. It's just kind of it's interesting. But the one thing I got from that is it's kind of feeds who I am as a person. It's just relationships are everything.
Yeah.
Like those guys make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the main reason why they trust their coaches is relationships and the trust they build. Because they want to be better. If you can coach someone to be better, especially in the league, you got that trust with them. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed is like they build a relationship with those guys and they trust them because they know how to get them better. That's the biggest thing. Once you have that, like everything kind of takes off from there.
I know you worked with the Chargers, the Jaguars, and it was one more, right?
Oh, the Titans.
The Titans. Is
With
there
Derrick
any,
Henry.
like,
It's
funny,
crazy.
Derrick Henry? Was there any like funny stuff? You did running backs with all of them?
Yeah.
Was there
I
any,
did
like-
tight ends with the Jaguars. But
Okay. That was Evan Ingram year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it you have any like funny stories of just anything you could tell from being at any three of those places?
Yeah, so with the two stories with the Titans, so one of the team meetings, I didn't know where to sit. I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm like, I'm here. I was 26. I was like, I don't even know. So I went to the front, and something happened. And they told us to like stand up or something like that. Or I forget what happened. But I was sitting down and someone like made fun of me for my height in the back. Like they're like, "Hey, stand up," because I was sitting something like that. And everyone started laughing, and someone was like, "You should came back at him," but I was like, "I'm like, that dude's a big dude. I'm good." He's basically called me out on my height because he's like, "You're sitting or you're standing," basically.
Yeah.
And then another thing was DeMarco Murray was funny. He used to test me on the plays, which I appreciate. And I was like getting it wrong at first. It was a protection thing. And then one of the last meetings, Sylvester Kroom was one of my mentors. Was talking through his ears. Like, "All right, Izzy, I'm gonna give you the floor. I want you to evaluate every single person, like in front of them." And I'm like, "Are you having me do this right now?" And I just said, like, because they're all like top players, and kind of I kept it short because I'm like, I'm not doing that. And DeMarco was like, "I have a question for him." I knew it was coming. I was like, "Oh, here we go." He asked like about the blitz, who's the RB have, and I was like, "Oh, for a certain protection, Will, Mike, and then check the Sam." And he's like, "That's what I'm talking about." And I started dying, but it was kind of funny that he was like making sure I was on it.
Yeah, for sure. I want to get you out of here because I know you got to go. Last question I want to ask you, right? Like, you've been in special teams, you've been running back, corners, tight end in the NFL. Do you want to be a head coach? Do you want to be a head coach in the NFL or GM? Like, what's your end goal here with this thing?
So the one thing is, like, just being around people you enjoy coming to work with. And I love that here. Like, the players, the coaches, the worst thing, and I've happened to me before, and it's happened to other coaches, is going out, not liking who you work with. Love the community here. Great dudes, man. Be around good people. Eventually, I'd like to be a head coach at some point, but it has to be the right situation. You know what I mean? Like, the culture's right. I like the people kind of blend what I'm trying to do. So I'd love to be a college head coach one day, and the long-term goal is someday be in the NFL and kind of climbing that ladder there. So those are like two things when the timing's right. Like I'm not one of those guys like always looking for like it's just when the timing's right. I really believe with that certain things will open up.
It'll happen for you. Coach, it was a great episode. I appreciate you for coming on. It was a great episode. Listen, we're going to have a great season. Keep going. Keep breaking down the film. I don't know how you guys do it. Keep helping us out and everything like that. But I appreciate you for coming on. And,
absolutely, man.
Hope one day, I know one time you told me, have I ever thought about being a coach? And if I get up there,
listen, don't forget about me because I'm telling you, Slim, you got that mind.
I got you. Right? Coach, I got you. Necessary Conversation. I'm your Saleem Messiah, and we out.